cloud. All right, this is capturing leads through your open houses, and quote of the morning, nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads you have. This is straight from the MREA with Gary Keller. And who here can resonate with that? All of us, yeah. You know, more buyer leads that we can call on, more seller leads we can call on. I call that time block of my day lead follow-up. What a concept. Follow up with the people that said, yes, I want to buy a house. Yes, I want to sell a house. Yes, I have thoughts about real estate, all that fun stuff. And those who are online, just feel free to chime in or raise your hand. We'll make sure to get you on here with us. You know, dispel limiting beliefs. I don't have a listing to hold open. We're going to show how to get over that. I don't have signs yet. We'll show you how to get over that. I may not know the answers to questions visitors have. Open houses don't really work because most people look online and I won't feel safe. So these are limiting beliefs that I know I've had, and we're going to work together on overcoming these. So if ever these type of obstacles coming up in your head, I'm going to help dispel them. Capture leads with open houses. So open houses, who benefits? Practically everybody benefits. Sellers, buyers, neighbors, you, the agents, everyone benefits, and here's why, right? The benefits of open houses, they're inexpensive, they're a prospecting tool, they're the high rate of return. So what are we paying for? I mean, does anyone pay for their flyers, or just get them printed if you partner with a Cindy or your preferred partner, and then you have printed resources, and you get qualified leads through that, right? So there's so many things that are associated with it, and it's something they don't talk about, but it's also, let's call it what it is, excellent opportunity to train and practice. So at the same time, oh, yep, Veronica, thank you for the reminder. That's where I saw it. I was like, we are recording now, by the way, so thank you. One of the best things for me when I did open houses was it gave me social media material. So I was able to talk about the house, do Facebook Live at the time, all these pieces that I couldn't do because I didn't have a listing. And then number two, it gave me a great opportunity to practice, right? People came in. I always believed in the concept of failing forward. I think we still owe you the book. I'm so sorry. The concept of failing forward was still in my head when I first started here too. So it gave me an opportunity to meet with people that I wouldn't normally get a chance to talk to. And they were a captive audience, right? They're asking about the house, they're asking about real estate. I didn't have all the answers, but it gave me engagement on things I should be aware of. For example, I really should know the schools of the area. I have no idea what they are. Actually, your cheat sheet, by the way, has everything that a basic buyer would ask for. It had like the stores, it has the schools ratings, it has, what's the rating for walking and transportation, restaurants. It's all on those front and back 2 sheets of paper. One fun hack for those who are online, and I don't know if I can show it to you, but a fun hack that we can all use is CRMLS app. And on there, it shows you the walking score. It gives you the 3 schools, the elementary, middle school, and high school, or public school of the area. If you need to do a deeper dive, you can also go through it and see what's closed, get some, do a quick CMA on that app as well. So if you needed that.
And if I can just say to the people in Zoom land, they're called community reports or neighborhood reports, and all I need is an address, super simple for me to create for you. So if you're sitting at open house, let me know.
Oh yeah, and one more hack, and I know we're gonna get into it later, but if you go to RPR and then just do like a full printout of the CMA or keep the PDF on your phone, they'll give you like everything about the property and the location. So that's a fun little hack. I mean, it may not print it, it's like 200 pages, but have the PDF saved and have it on your desktop, or not your desktop, your laptop, iPad, phone, whatever you use tech-wise at the open house.
I wanted to mention one other benefit from a buyer's perspective, because my daughter's looking for a house and people are sending me listings all the time. And if it's something that I'm moderately interested in, I'm hoping they're having an open house, because I don't want to call and make an appointment to go see it.
Yeah. Trying to think back right now, like a lot of the homes we are seeing or we had seen recently, they were only open house related. So we sent the clients out on their own. Have a signed BRE, by the way, when you do that, it's always helpful. And we put together another deal that way. VA buyer went out there, saw the house, loved it, in escrow now. worked through it. But for a while, all the homes in at least the Inland Empire were open house only. So we kind of saved our team time trying to drive out there, because the only chance they were showing it was Saturday, Sunday, and that was it, right? So now, but you are going to start seeing homes sit a little longer. So if these open houses, kind of going back to the market at the moment, you may be able to sit high-end homes that are priced. And I'm not saying it's just solely that. Anything overpriced, you'll see an adjustment on. But start looking at the homes that hit the market, $1.5 million, $1.6 million, West Hills, Woodland Hills, especially Woodland Hills. And you're going to see them, maybe they do the first open house as the listing agent, but they'll have 2, 3, 4 weeks of being on market as they price the home downward. And remember, you as the buyer agent hosting the open house, or the agent hosting the open house, God bless if you end up being the one selling it, right? The real point of this is to capture leads. Number one purpose, connect with people, gain that relationship, add them to your database, stay in touch with them over that period of time, right? It's not to sell the house. And I think that was my failure early on, was like, oh, I'm going to help, forgot her name, Mahia, love her. It's my job to help sell the house. And if I don't sell the house, it's failure, right? Like, I got so caught up in selling another agent's house that I forgot about the 10 people that I met at the open house, right? Big problem there. Kind of a mismatch of goals. The listing agent's job is to sell the house. My job at the open house is protect the seller stuff, and to a degree, and then make sure, hey, we were connecting with people, capturing leads, and following up with them. I'm going to beat that point very heavy today, because I'm talking to myself more than anyone else. Any ahas from that, from this aspect of it?
I would love to share my observation, because obviously I've sat open houses with a bunch of people.
Yes.
So I have my opinions about the ones that I thought were the best.
Please fire away. Yeah.
If this is the right place to say it.
Open houses.
Yeah. So I think that the ones that I think went the best, first of all, there's a sign-in sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should be very much of a Nazi about asking people to sign in. But then other than that, the ones that seemed to go the best were the ones that they didn't pressure people at all. They didn't dog them around. They didn't pepper them with questions. They didn't force a conversation. They were very casual about it. And, can I answer any questions? And just conversationally sharing information. And it reeked of the agent having confidence.
Mm-hmm.
There was one other thing I'm trying to remember what I really liked. Oh, I remember what it was. I've seen agents who were prepared to say, oh, you're looking in this area, there's 3 other open houses today, and these are the addresses of them. And I was like, wow, that's a wonderful service,
Yeah,
I would be impressed with that agent if they gave me that information.
Yeah, we usually have a CMA printed out in the past, like here are homes that sold. But it does make sense if they're looking for similar homes in the same community. Hey, here are the other 3.
Yeah.
Or if I use the CR MLS app, right? So I'll know the ones because they're pegged with green with a little white circle around it. And a great way to capture correct information is like, hey, by the way, I can just text you the links. What's the best number to text you at? And then I'll hit share. It shares the link, and I text it to them. They get the ping, and then when they open it, if you edited the CR MLS settings, you can put your photo, phone number, name, all that stuff on there. So they get all of that information up front. And on top of it, I will text them my contact card, which I finally updated, by the way.
Okay.
So in years past, they would get a picture of me and my son. Now it's just like my professional photo headshot. Instead with the office address and all that fun stuff there.
You just share the contact.
So now I meet people at, like scouting. Last night we had our awards night, and somebody had asked me about real estate. Oh, hey, you know what? Crazy time right now. I'm watching 30 kids. Can I text you? Can we text each other? So I texted him my contact card, and we connected this morning. He's looking at buying property.
That's perfect, because you at least have their phone number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One of the mistakes I learned failing forward on that note was that I was giving it all away for free, right? So we had this experience at camping where a guy's like, oh, I got into escrow at this house in Valencia. I'm like, much, you know? Good for you, man. You know, so, but he took great advice from us and then went to a friend and got it done, right? Or whoever he went through, like maybe he walked into the open house and was doing a deal with the listing agent, who knows? But my point is, and then my wife reminded me, she's like, well, babe, the same way when you recruit, do you tell them everything about Keller Williams? Like, well, no, because there's so much to explain. Well, yeah, maybe you're explaining way too much about buying and selling when you're hanging out camping. Mind blown, right? Instead of giving it all away over a campfire, like, hey, you know, that's an awesome question. Maybe give 1 or 2 tips. In our case,
That's good.
That's set the appointment.
bam, that's it. If I 101 close for the appointment, or at least a close for the appointment, to set up the appointment, then I'm in front of them at their house, here at the office, wherever home card advantage is. And now we're getting a commitment like, hey, if we're able to do this with you, this is always the closing question, right? Regardless of business. If we're able to help you get to where you want to be in this amount of time with the resources that we provide and offer, is there any reason we couldn't get started tonight? Well, what does that mean? Do I need to sign paper? Absolutely. You need your autograph on, well, this BRE residential listing agreement, whatever it is. Yeah.
I want to circle back a little bit what Cindy said about the open house.
Sure.
Yesterday, I took my client to a broker's open. We were in a $4 million home, and the listing agent, or the guy that was in charge, so to speak,
Yeah.
was hovering around my client. You know, like I kind of let him do his thing. We sort of were in different parts of the house, and you know, and then we'd circle back, and he went upstairs, and the guy followed him upstairs, and later on, my client was just like, that guy was so creepy, just not leaving me alone, and just hovering around. And so it's you know, you're exactly right. You do it to a certain extent. I walked into places where I asked the agent specifically, what do we need to know? That's what I ask when I walk into any place when the agent's in there. And the response more often than not is, oh, just look around and let me know if you have any questions. Wrong. That's just not the way to respond. You gotta give a rundown. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 4,800 square feet, the lots, blah, 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 blah. Capsule. Then let them go off and do their thing.
Yeah.
And
And
make
they'll
sure
start
you're
asking
accessible,
questions.
and exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really not a science. It's the same thing if you ever work retail. You don't want people, you don't want to follow someone around. They're just looking.
I get really mad.
Right, yeah. So just think of it as that. It's almost common sense. If I was really surprised that agent would do that.
Yeah.
Was he like a veteran agent or?
I would think he seemed to be. I forgot, I should actually look it up. There were 2 other women that were there that were much more on track.
Got it.
And I think he saw my client, and my client had some, you know, apparent clothes on, and you know, so it just cheesy. Anyway, my client didn't like the house anyway, so no big deal. But it's just to what you were saying.
That's
And
awesome.
the other thing that the most comfortable way to get people to sign in that I found is for them to say, oh, would you mind signing this? The owner is required.
Yeah, for sure. I always see people doing that.
Yeah. Not to
And they
mention,
usually go with it,
Yeah.
even if it just ends up being a phone. I know Christine will say something to the effect of, is this the right number to follow up on? You know, as they're leaving, or, you know, if you have an opportunity, is this the correct email, just to make sure, you know, if you've got the conversation going.
oh yeah, and to Christine, you have your hand raised.
Hi there. Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm wearing my red day shirt. I was gonna say a couple things. First of all, about Kurt. Kurt has such a gracious way when people come in, and we banter off each other really well. He's my open house partner, and he has a great question, because he puts his signs up, and to break the ice with the conversation, he will ask them, so how'd you hear about us? You know, did you find us on, you know, like, did you look us up? Did you see my signs? And then he and I go, yay, our signs, you know, like we have like a cute little thing together. And we also, especially when the home is not owner occupied, Kurt and I let them, well, you know, we're here if you have any questions, and we let them go off on their own usually. And then we say, well, come back when you're finished and we'll point out some things. And the other thing I was going to say about the signing, yes, I say what Cindy said, or Kurt does too, about the owners are requesting this. And I don't question what they write at the time. And you can tell who writes something, you know, basically BS or just writing like, nothing, their name or something. They don't want us to.
Scribble, so you think there's no way you'll know.
Can't
Right,
read that.
so what Kurt said was, if we have a conversation, once they get to know us and now we're having a conversation back and forth and they're intrigued by some things, or they may say, oh yeah, I'd really like to know that, or whatever it is that I offer them, then I'll say, oh, let me just make sure, can I read this correctly? And just in case they, like intentionally made a goof before, but they want to give it to me now, and I don't want them to be embarrassed that they gave me the wrong information. I'll say, well, what's the best one? And I have had somebody say, oh yeah, use this other one. Kind of an idea, but anyway, yeah, but Kurt, it's really good. Kurt says that when they come in, and it's really kind of, we make a joke about it, and then it's really easy to, have a
Because
conversation.
then we're not like trying to hawk in on,
Yeah.
like swoop in on.
Yeah.
And then I have said this before about looking the part. So a lot of different agents will wear whatever they're going to wear. You have to dress for your neighborhood or how you are. But I really, Kurt and I coordinate that we both wear Keller Williams t-shirts. It gives us a comfortable, easy, laid back feeling, and they know that we're the responsible parties there to answer questions. And so that's kind of a thing for me, is like I really like wearing it. That's my uniform to me as a realtor. Besides my name tag.
Name tag, don't forget about your name tag.
We gotta get those. Okay.
Yeah, we had to get name tag and KW shirts.
Yeah.
Not that it was then, they were like
I like
selling
it
them.
though.
I'm like, all right. We're gonna start investing in those.
Christine even likes to work to the grocery store.
Yeah, you got all those.
Totally.
But you definitely
Yeah.
know the answer, and to that point, I mean,
Absolutely.
that all this stuff, guys, hope you guys are taking notes, even mental notes, because these are 101 items. Something on the buyer agent side, carrier, my wife got me this, but you can put your business cards, right? Business card holder, not for stick gun, but put your business cards in here when you work with your clients. Say, hey, I'm gonna give you some passports, right? So our guy Don, he would go see the home on Friday during the broker open tour, random house that was just an open house sign, and he would be like, oh, hi, my name is Don, my agent Philip, and I just told him, look, we find a house, it's telling me quote unquote sent you, right? Just go in there. But you treat these as your passports. Leave it with the agent. Some of those agents actually called me to say, hey, your client stopped by, what do they think? Whatever it is, another sign of the changing times when listing agents are calling us, the buyer's agents, for feedback, like, hey, what's the over under on an offer? Or whatever it is. But this is one great way to not pull your hair out when you're working with one or multiple buyers who need to go into places. Like, A, have the BRE signed, and B, let them know, like, hey, these are your passports. Give them like 10 or 12 of these. They're only $30 to get 500 or something like that, and then cycle through those out there. So again, you don't have to be all things to all people. You just have to set it up as best you can, the consultation and pre-approval, and then out they go.
Can I ask
Hey,
you
sure.
about open house?
Sure.
They mentioned it. I always thought when I went to the open house, I thought the agent follow you because they want to make sure you don't touch anything, you don't steal anything.
Well,
But
Sometimes,
yeah,
that's part
it
of
gives
it.
you a bad feeling. I understand. I really don't like someone follow. But if something happened, who's gonna be responsible?
Ooh, that'd be us.
Missing something, stealing.
Yeah, that's part of why we take the write-in. Now, I gotta rethink this, because on the open houses, like, let's say it is occupied, right? Like when I would host open houses on MLS, you can search for a field called vacant. And then we'll do a quick run through on how to add that field to your MLS search. But you can search for vacant properties and then host those. So like, as an agent, I traditionally will not host Cindy's listing from Coldwell Banker when it has personal property in it, or any listing for that matter. Yeah, I'll target a vacant house, or if it is someone who says, hey, I have this listing, you can post an open house. My question is, hey, does it have personal items in there? It does, but everything's locked up, don't worry about it. Like, okay, great.
I'm going to comment on that too, because my
Sure.
comments were about a staged home or, vacant, not owner occupied. So sometimes to make it, and especially now because of COVID stuff, people are only coming in small groups. And
Right.
if you work with another agent, one person can lead them in, another one, like you're kind of there. And I, also for your safety, for the, well, I say ladies, but anybody, you never want to have your back to someone that's coming in. You don't know these people. When you walk into a room, you let them walk into the room and you stand at the doorway. And so you also tell them, oh, the owner has asked that, we escort, so many people at a time or something. And, that has happened. I've heard lots of stories, not lots, I've heard several stories recently about maybe someone took a watch or did something. So you do have to be, you're there protecting the owner's, valuables.
And on that point, we're gonna hit all the best practices now. I do highly suggest having a partner, even if you're just splitting the leads, right? Or splitting, whoever does deals, just go right down the middle. I used to bring my wife Monica, like, hey, not that I'm worried about getting hurt, but hey, who knows? Some crazy people out there. Or I brought another agent, Lester, who's here at this office. He and I were partnered up when we both started at the other Keller Williams office, right? And we did exactly that. We kind of tag team. We had great energy, similar to Christine and Kurt. And off we went. And I learned from him. I think he learned something from me. I was more of the greenie than he was. So, we were essentially learning from each other and all that fun stuff. One of the things to do is be purposeful, not entrepreneurial, set goals. Think about your market numbers, pick the house, right? And we'll go into that. Prepare and practice.
Philip, can I say one more thing about that?
Yeah, sure.
That's kind of my platform. If you guys, have heard me talk about real estate, but that's basically, I even go to other offices that are outside of Keller Williams talking about it with the sheriff's department. But so what happened to me in the late 80s when I first had my license, I was, young. This is before cell phones. This is before anything like that. And, I would do an open house. And someone came in and I watched him put his hand behind his back and lock the doors.
Whoa.
So I'm going to tell you, it scared the, what out of me. But I was smart enough to go, I got to get the hell out of here. So I ran out of the house. That's why, anyway, I got excited about it. But I ran out of the house and I went down the payphone and called my broker, who was Mike Cosgrove, the agent in our office. His mother was my broker at Century 21.
Whoa.
In the 80s, a long time ago, even though I'm only 32.
Awesome.
Okay. So, that's like a big thing. And at the time, I was already married. My husband said, you're done. And I quit real estate because of that back then, because it was so scary at that time. I couldn't do it. So when I came back, I am a big, do I want to share with my commission if I get something? No, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be there and have a person. I'll never do an open house by myself, 100%. And I know a lot of agents want to be like, oh, I got to hold the money. It's not worth it. Plus you do a better service when you're two people. Absolutely. 100%. But, there's different things too about that besides what I said about not letting your back be to someone in the room. The other things are, if I was there most of the time by myself or with another woman or something, I carry my keys and my cell phone in my hand, or I have it on me that I'm ready to do something. I don't have all my stuff everywhere and I'm going to be stranded. So it's important. You guys watched the news last year, and what happened with Keller Williams agents and other agents.
Oh yeah.
Be aware.
One lady was.
That's why I get off the soapbox now.
Okay. I don't know if it was a couple.
Not here.
No, it was
like in the south.
Yeah. And then there was a lady from.
Encino. It was Encino.
Oh, she was assaulted.
Well, no, the one that was assaulted,
Yeah. But it was also pretty
And
bad.
I think
It was caught on camera.
she got pushed down and,
Yeah.
Pepper spray, that okay?
Absolutely.
I have my pepper spray with me all the time.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so there is, it's definitely not worth it. We're gonna get into it, but preparing aspect of it, the safety aspect is huge, it's paramount. I mean, that we're just not showing homes. And if you notice, most open houses that we're sending our clients to, or that we're even walking into ourselves, there's usually 3 to 4 people these days anyway. And because of COVID, we kind of blame it on the idea that, hey, we're only allowing like one group at a time. Now I've seen some people post on their Instagram and Facebook, they got their camera sitting there and recording all the people coming through, like a madhouse, which is fine, to each your own with that. I think, for me, or whatever, and a lot of the listings that you guys have said, it's not like you guys have droves of people coming through, but when you do get the droves, we kind of know instinctively, we should probably train on it more. Hey, one group at a time. And as one group goes out through the back door, second group can come in. Or if you're in a 2-story home, you have someone like when it was Rick and I, Rick would be upstairs, I would be downstairs, and then we would swap, right? And then we would take turns going through and showing them. During COVID, it was super easy because you only allowed 2 people in at a time, even if you're a group of 4 or 6. So it was kind of like,
Long line outside.
yeah, the long line, and it was silly, but safe. Think about your market numbers, so pick the house, prepare and practice, consider inviting a speaker such as an inspector or a lender. So this is a freebie, instead of having another agent with you now, just from a business standpoint, have title, have home warranty, have, well, the two that would really be a win-win for them would be insurance agents, lender. Right? Insurance agents, they're not just selling home insurance and hopefully doing one for you, they're also building their databases too. So it's not deal for deal. The smarter business people know that they also need to capture relationships. And if you have a list of like 15 people coming through, now you're not the only one following up with them for a potential full commission on buy side or sell side. Now they're following up too for their own things. Like, hey, we met at Brittany's open house at 341 North Dillon Street. I was curious, you had made mention about insurance, about the house, blah, blah, whatever. Now it's 2 people following up with the one client. And then they might not pick up your call, but they might pick up the lender's call or the insurance agent's call. And it's like, oh, Evie, they don't want to buy insurance, whatever it is, but they said that they were interested in buying a different house. And they'll, for whatever reason, they'll tell the truth to a different person without the agent, because we're the salesperson, right? But they're going to open up to the person who has no financial threat to whether or not they buy a house or put offers on other homes. Pick the theme, the time and theme. That's weird. I've never done the both. So this is like you're doing it at your open house. But Thursday night happy hour, wine and cheese open house, Sunday afternoon. Typically, if it's your listing, you want to tag it for a broker open day, which is usually Fridays out here, Tuesdays south of the boulevard, and in the west side, it would be essentially on Tuesdays. But again, you can also do a Thursday night, whatever works for you in terms of hosting that. Know your market, prepare the stats that was Cindy's point and Christine's point, knowing other homes for sale, knowing the comps in the area, similar homes that are priced in the same area or the same range.
The other thing that trips people up a lot is when they start asking questions about, is this permitted? What kind of HVAC system do they have? Those kinds of really detailed questions that, me and the agent are usually looking at each other like, huh? And so if you're on someone else's listing, then they need to be on call,
Well,
it's just so that they can answer your text.
Verbal jujitsu.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a fantastic question. Let me get something to write with or type with. And I'm literally typing up or writing out power pole, wire coming over, sunroom that may or may not have permits. Awesome. Hey, I know to Christine's point, I know you checked in. However, what's the best way I can text you or call you on Monday? Oh, yeah, great question. 310, and it's not even the same number they gave me, but jujitsu, meaning like flip it on them, like turn that big time question into a way to capture their information and build a relationship. Because who knows, you're gonna call them up on Monday or Tuesday when you have the right information. That's why I'm saying Monday or Tuesday, because that's when maybe the listing agent or you yourself, if you are the listing agent, you want to get more information from the city, from the seller, whoever. You're calling, hey Cindy, this is Philip. We connected over at 341 Dillon Street. I got the answers you were looking for to your questions. My biggest question is, how did the weekend go for you in terms of looking for homes?
That's good.
And then it becomes, they talk about their experience. Oh, it was pretty bad. We really like the house you were at. And then you can go into whatever you discovered or not discovered. Maybe there is no disclosure, right? It's just, hey, that's how the sellers bought it, and that's what it is. I find those questions from those type of clients gold, because that means they're very inquisitive. It's like when you work with a kid in scouts or in school and they're just like, they have all these questions about things, they're into the subject because they're engaged, right? The ones that are just walking through the house, okay, see ya, or on to the next one. So like, okay, no connection. Maybe they signed in, maybe you can follow up. That at least those are the money ones. And so my point in bringing what Cindy brought up, remember how we're not gonna have the answers to everything? Awesome. Let me take that down. It's a fantastic question. And if you allow me, I can get back to you when the seller's available or when the city's open on Monday and get more details for you. Now you have their information, you have a reason to call them.
I didn't even think of that trick.
Well, it's something I didn't really think of. I just didn't have an answer for them right at the time. But I would say, well, what's the best way to get hold of you? We find something. So it's almost like an innocent you know, an innocent way of finding out, like, hey, I want to keep in touch with you.
Yeah.
But then it became, oh, I have their information, they answered, off we go.
Yeah. Cool.
Be safe, and I think we really hammered this point between all of us. Use the buddy system, arrive early, park on the street, check all entrances and exits, have an exit strategy, right? They talk about it here, they're not talking about it here. Don't park your car in the driveway because someone can block your car in and you can't drive off, right? Park on the street, what they said there, park on the street, check all entrances and exits, make sure your cell phone is fully charged or have a charger with you. Turn on the lights, even though it's bright, turn on everything. Check your local COVID guidelines, follow market center guidelines and checklists for open houses. One more on there, call your spouse, somebody, let them know where you're at. My mom, God bless her, I never asked her to do this, but she would drive into the open house halfway through to bring me lunch and also check on my well-being and safety. You know, so she was like, oh, I was in the area. I'm like, Mom, this is Palm Hill. Like, what are you doing here? You know? Oh yeah, it's in the area. And she would always have like a hamburger or whatever. And it was awesome. Yeah, she was calling the crier again too. But yesterday was Mother's Day. But she would do that stuff. And by the way, anyone crazy here? And I'm like, no, just you and me. But yeah,
Philip,
you can do stuff like that. Yeah, Christine.
this is really great, and this is new for what are we in? Ignite. This is new for Ignite, because this wasn't part of it. So I really am happy that they're doing this. The other thing I was going to say too is when you leave, you know, I don't want to be like the negative person, and you guys all know I'm a positive person, but I'm also very you know, careful. So when you're in a house too, when you're going to leave and walk out, make sure that you check all the windows and that everything is locked, because that has been a thing too about, you know, while you're not looking, they unlock a window or door, and then they know in the house, especially once they've cased it out, if they know it's a vacant house or whatever, it's not somebody's there, they're going to come back. Or I actually had a client during COVID that this happened, and people were sleeping there at night. They were like coming in and they found sleeping bags underneath something, and that they were coming in. It was just like, so I'm just saying, go around. You may not think the window might be shut. I know, it was crazy.
Crazy.
Hey, Kurt, it was your client. You know that.
Which client?
Your
Oh, you're fine. Unlock the window.
Anyway.
Oh,
one that takes forever.
I joined at a time in 14, 15 when you kind of had that mixture of foreclosed homes and flips.
Yeah.
So the foreclosed homes were vacant because the bank owned them, and then the flipped homes were vacant because they were just remodeled, right? And we would walk into homes where you would see the sleeping bags. One of them, there was a naked man in the bathroom, and my client sprinted out the door so quickly, and we were apologizing. I called the agent like, hey, there's a new person in the bathroom. Oh, that's the caretaker. He's there to watch the house. Like, well, I guess he's bored because there's nothing to do apparently. But yeah, I think that guy felt embarrassed too. And my client was scared. He's like, no, Phil, I'm good. We can go to the next house. Like, okay.
Yeah, nothing will kill a deal quick.
Yeah. Man. And then we would have the stories of like copper pipes being stolen and tankless
Wow.
water heaters stolen out of garages and all that stuff. It is insane. Yeah. On the listing side, if you are going to work with a seller though who does have a vacant home, make sure they have renter's insurance for the house for the personal items being left in there, like all their equipment. And I haven't talked to your insurance rep about it, but I believe it would also cover material they leave behind, or they might have a special policy for those type of items. Because the last thing they want to do is have someone steal their stuff, and that'll be the end of it, right? What else is there? We have a few vacant homes, and we change all the locks. That's part of us taking the listing. So I know this is about open houses, but we'll change all the locks in the house. If we know it's going to be vacant, we don't charge a client. That's usually part of our value proposition anyway. And then we have someone stop by once a week to check on it. So we comp our guy Rick. Rick goes up there, make sure, hey, no one's sleeping in here that shouldn't be here, or whatever it may be. Off we go. Ahas. I think we covered a ton of ahas. But anyone else want to share anything in terms of safety and procedures or anything like that? Awesome. You talked about pepper spray, Monica has a taser. So we got like different
There's a
things.
lady that
They
comes
even
around.
sell it at the board. If you guys want to
Yes.
write it
Oh,
off,
There's a
write off,
lady that
buy it at
has
the board.
like, there's a lady that sells kind of like
Damsel in defense.
feminine,
Oh,
yeah, sort
I
of
mean, yeah, I know that
products,
lady
feminine
too.
defense products.
Long time ago I met her.
I don't know how else to
I
call
bought my
it.
pepper spray through her.
Oh, really?
Damsel in
Yeah,
defense.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Damsels?
Damsel in defense.
That's cute.
I'm gonna see if maybe Stephanie can have her come out for a team meeting at some point.
That would be so cool.
And she's super cool. Team meeting,
Oh, is it
guest
Mindy?
speaker.
Is it
Is it
Mindy? Cause I met her a long time ago somewhere.
I gotta
when
double
went
check.
for
I know,
CPR.
I know Damsel in Defense is a franchise,
And they have.
and then they have like different people who buy in.
Mine is Mindy. So
Mindy?
I get
Okay.
emails from her. Yeah.
See if you can connect her with Stephanie, the gal, I haven't talked to her since 2018 or 19.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe 19 when that thing happened with the agent from our office.
I just got her email yesterday.
There you go.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
on the topic of drip campaign, drip, 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 drip.
Yeah,
boom,
there
hey,
you
she
go.
might
I know,
Be
right?
presenting here at the office.
I know, I always get her emails.
And you're her universal lead into this
That's-
office,
Yeah.
right? So drip campaigns work, guys.
Yes.
All right, prepare, prospect, and pursue. I think they were trying to reach here with the triple Ps. I use prosecute, but they're using pursue. That's pretty cool. So prepare, prospect, and pursue. The difference between big and really big is how you manage your time and focus. Bam. I feel like they're talking to all of us, right? But you look at a quote like that and you think, oh, totally applies regardless of where I'm at. Any ahas with the quote? Difference between big and really big is how you manage your time and focus.
I'm reading that chapter on the real estate agent where they talk about the 4 keys to
Yes.
managing your business, like from
Right.
your earnings
Mhm.
perspective. And yeah, they talk a whole lot about time.
I mean, you can get so much done if all you did was work 7:30 to 10 o'clock in the morning, not 10 o'clock at night. I shifted my little call schedule. Instead of doing my calendaring and prep of who I'm calling at 7:30, I made my 7:30 my first and 10. So now I'm knocking out the big calls of the day with agents, on deals, clients, big time follow-up return calls, jump on the forward mindset call with you guys. And then at 8:30 to 9:30, hour power, I got a lead from a past client. This is actually just checking in on him, how him and his family really referred his son to buy a house. Another client said, hey, I got your name out there with some friends. Then my lead follow-up, the listing on SEPTA that we took.
Mhm.
I called her up and, sure enough, nothing's really changed and her situation's gotten worse. So
Oh,
now
I'm
we're
sorry.
reactivating a $1.3 million listing, right? Working on getting that on market by the end of this month, if not June. And she's buying a manufactured home for 300, right? So you and that's before 10 o'clock. So if my day ended, like awesome, we solved the problem for one of our escrows, we got a new lead, we got someone kind of reactivated through lead follow-up, and then cool, see you, right? And not that we're here now and I have
Yeah.
appointments after this, but the point is that you can get so much done if we're just purposeful with the time that we can give.
Oh, a question, you said forward mindset. Is that from 8 to 8:30? Is that like in place of,
Yeah, instead of morning mindset, they just kind of retweaked it a little bit.
okay.
Thank you, Christine, by the way, for morning mindset. From what I understand, it all originated from Christine
Oh,
and the crew here during the start of the pandemic, so. Woo. Awesome, so prepare, prospect, pursue. Most of the work for open house is done before the day of the open house. And you know what, you can literally replace the open house with your real estate day is done the day before you start your real estate day. 15 to 30 minutes the night before, the afternoon, the day before, you kind of just line up, hey, here are the top 5 I need to call, here's my current deals, here are the email that I just cleared through. You literally just lined up your next day and you won just by preparing. Now, things invariably, like you get a call from a client, it's like, hey, I want to cancel, awesome. And then you deal with that, but it doesn't take the priority as the main thing. So instead of reacting to everything that happens in your day, you're like, cool, there's a space, I'm gonna move it to this time block to, like I told her, 2 o'clock, 2:30. Let them kind of stew on it a little bit while we knock out everything else that we already have lined up.
It's the 4 Ps, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Damn,
Oh,
whoa,
wait,
whoa,
wait.
whoa, whoa, say that again.
Slow
Wait, 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 hold on, I gotta type that.
I read that a long time ago, a mentor shared it.
All right, fine.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I've never forgotten that, never.
Forgive my
I
misspellings.
always think about it. Proper
Quintuple
preparation
P.
prevents poor performance.
I was putting your P to the 5th power. And that was proper preparation prevents poor performances or performance. Dude, that's dope. All right, good job. There you go,
It
guys.
stuck with me forever.
We can end it now.
Pretty
Preparation.
much with everything, right?
Everything.
Yeah, it's not just an open
Everything.
house. It's a
Even at my
listing
job, I
appointment,
always
it's
think about it at
its
my job too, like it
Yeah.
stuck with me, obviously, like I was,
own-
what,
It's a thing.
18,
Yeah.
19 years old when
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard it,
yeah.
and I was like, whoa. This is
Mind
good.
blown. So I put that here, I'm just moving this around, so we're the ones here who could see it, and everyone has it on their phone. But yeah, prepare your mindset, practice your conversations, nothing different, like literally this is how you run a real estate day. And in this case, you're doing the same for an open house, and this also applies to appointments, like you're preparing your mindset for the appointment, practice your conversations for a buyer's appointment or a listing conversation, off you go. And then here, this is worth a screenshot, that this is week before your open house. Monday, you select the house. Tuesday, you post online, walk the neighborhood, invite neighbors to showing. Wednesday, post online again, install yard sign. Thursday, post online again, invite database. Friday, post online again. It sounds like overkill, so worth it. Prepare your market statistics, print flyers, door knock. We actually would print the flyer on Thursday, you know, get it a day earlier, but nonetheless, you have everything ready to go. What clients like to know: community and neighborhood information, relocation information, first time buyer specifics, mortgage information, right? When I would meet clients at the door, one of the three things I would talk to them about is the market of the moment, our network, and having strong finance. So I would go in, the proper order I would do it was having strong finance, if you're not buying all cash, market of the moment, and knowing how to write an offer that gets the attention of not just the seller, but most importantly, the listing agent. And number 3, the network. So Kurt, you and I will role play if you're both with it. Awesome. Hey Kurt, thanks for stopping by today. I know you're gonna see more open houses, and I understand, like, hey, you got a lot of options to work from. Before we go, do you mind if I share a couple tips with you before you guys take off from here?
Sure, please.
Awesome. One of the things you can do, one of the biggest reasons why escrows cancel is that the financing wasn't 100% on par. For whatever reason, maybe something was missed and the calculations were off. Of the 25% of escrows that do cancel, 80% of it is because of poor preparation on the financing aspect. So as you're going out there, make sure everything's buttoned up. If you need a referral source, even if you don't work with me and our team, we have some great lenders we can connect you with.
Great, awesome.
Awesome. Number 2 is that whoever you work with, you want to make sure you write the offer in such a way that not only gets the attention of the seller, but also gets the attention of the listing agent. And there's ways to write an offer without giving away the entire form. And if you need some tips, just feel free to give us a call and we'll connect on that. And then lastly, it's about the network. A lot of times, this addresses if he has, like, quote unquote a brother or a cousin or a relative or a friend who's out of area. A lot of what we do in real estate is network based. I'm with Keller Williams Calabasas. Our office has over 400 agents. We list heavily in the West Valley, whatever area you're in, and we're part of the Keller Williams Greater Network. On top of that, I do network with our board of realtors. I know other agents from other offices. So a lot of times these deals are being put together between relationships with agent to agent. And I might not know every single listing agent, but I know the key people who know those people, and it gives us a fighting chance to get our clients' offers accepted.
Oh, you sound like a great resource, Philip.
Yeah, and I would be
Why
like,
am I working with you?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so sometimes it would end that way, right? And if it didn't, like, hit that tone, it would be, the transition was, hey, I know, once again, you have a lot going on, and I probably threw a lot at you. are you comfortable if we circle back on Tuesday or Wednesday, kind of after you've seen the homes, after you kind of digested, would that be an okay time for us to get reconnected?
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great.
What's the best way to get a hold of you? And I
Text.
text and then whatever, 310-818-661-805. And then you take their information, send them your contact card, add them to your database or whatever you're using to follow up. And then make sure you call on Tuesday, text Monday.
Thanks
Hey,
for coming in.
Yeah, it was great meeting you. I know it's an onrush of things that have happened. Looking forward to connecting with you tomorrow. And then sometimes they just call me, you
Yeah.
know. But those are the three things I would cover. Like, hey, gotta have solid financing if you are using financing. B is write the offer in a way that captures the attention, not just the seller, but also the listing agent without giving everything away. And then number three, your network. Because your network is your network, and that will go a long way here, especially if you happen to know the agent, right? I mean, at least you can be in the running to a degree. So hopefully that helped. Awesome.
This is good to share even with people that, buyers
Yeah.
that you were potential.
Absolutely. Because what I essentially shared, I copied from another person. Thank you, Scott Green, if you ever watches this video. But Scott Green taught me like, hey, we're gonna share your value proposition at the offset. And then when you do meet with them with the buyer consultation, because at that point, maybe they haven't had a consultation, right? Like the stuff we just dropped on them was like algebra or calculus in their head. So now it's great. There's a reason to meet with Philip or Jessica or Moj or, so there's a reason to meet with us, and then we can kind of go from there, or Brittany and all that fun stuff. Prospect, build trust and rapport. That's essentially what we did with that brief dialogue there. Provide value. That is basically exactly what in that conversation, we're providing value, our network, our resources, our time, of course, capture information, qualified leads. That's essentially what we did in that one dialogue, right? And then, of course, I think we covered it. We really beat it on about, Kurt's approach, Christine's approach, our different approaches to it. Build trust and rapport. Greet everyone that comes into the door, engaging conversation, be positive. And again, control the flow. If there's like a ton of people because the home's priced incredibly low, or whatever's going on, say, hey, we're only allowing in so many people at a time. And if you happen to be by yourself, even more reason to only allow like 2 people or 1 group at a time. Provide value. And then again, maybe don't do it by yourself. Get an insurance agent, get someone out there with you. There's a ton of people who will be willing to do it. And an open house isn't 12 hours long. It's 2 hours during, an hour before for prep, an hour after to clean up. There's people willing and lining up to be a part of that, to grow their databases too. Provide value, know your team stats, know your market stats, understand personality types. That's a DISC profile, by the way. Driver, DISC, we're not gonna get into that now totally, but that's just different personalities to look out for. Have something to offer the visitors. I typically just do printouts. When my wife is helping me, we have water bottles because she's more prepared than me. When it's just me, my giveaway is the flyer. So I'm probably not the best person to ask about that. Capture information, have a sign-in sheet, use command, use KW app. I learned something from Amelia. He was here earlier. If you there's you can create a scan, a QR code. And when they QR code that bad boy, they can download the app or check into your open house. So if you find him, harass him for that, because I usually have Josh, the one open house that we actually use it on, I had my guy Josh, put it together. I personally like the sign-in sheet and like how I've been teaching guys, like engage and connect and text them, get the information that way. But there is a way to create a QR code from your KW app or KW command and use that as a way to capture information. Remember, you're there to get leads and appointments, not to sell that specific house or be a contractor or be an attorney or a CPA or anything like that. Pursue, this is the biggest part. Remember, we talked about it takes 12 to 15 touches and contacts in order, with that same person in order to maybe even get an appointment or whatever it is to move to the next step. Update your database, follow up with everybody who attends. reevaluate the goals you set. Did you succeed? What changes will you make for the next time? Love this. Fail forward, wherever, however, there is no wrong in this case. It's really just how can you optimize, how can you improve, right? Plan an open house, and hang on here, guys. So this is basically the end, and I'm gonna do real quickly. For those online, so this is the recap. If you guys want to take a picture of this, this is like the full breakdown of our open house. And then I'm gonna log on to my MLS. So those who are online, stay with us. Those here, please stay with us. I'm gonna go jump on and show you guys how to find like vacant homes. So we're gonna end here. Let me stop share for now. And then as we're going through, as I log on to MLS, any questions from anyone online while we're all here together?
I don't think so, but this has been really informative and helpful. Thank you, Philip.
Oh, you're welcome. Let me go back to screen share again. So here we are. All right, so I'm gonna log on, and then so you go into your, I'm with SR/AR. I know some people might be with Greater Los Angeles. Then you log on to your MLS, and we should have kind of similar type of database. We're all going to CrisNet for the most part. Let's see. And Heather, the answer is yes, you can shadow, you just cannot talk about price, quote interest rate. What are the three? You can't quote price, can't quote interest rate, and you basically can't give advice on it. But if you want to, Heather, you can reach out to us here, and absolutely shadow an open house is not a problem.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Oh, for sure. Sorry, I was gonna type it, but it was already kind of on the screen. But yeah, totally cool. There's others that you can essentially follow and see how they run things. I don't think that's a problem. So you go to residential under detail, and then this is typically what it will look like on your screen. If you scroll to the bottom here, there's add additional field, add remove. If you add occupant type, I'll just type here, you can search occupant type, add it here, and then that will give you the breakdown for vacant or owner occupied or tenant occupied. So I'll go to vacant, right? Or normally I'll start way up here. I'll go to Cummings or to active. Let's say I wanted to host single family residents. There's still 2,500 and I want to do it in Los Angeles County. And this is, I'm not going to put a city in quite yet. And there's still 944 matches of single family homes that are active and they happen to be potentially vacant, right? So now I'm going to go to map. This is like the nerd in me. I'll go to map and say, well, I want to host it. I don't want to drive anywhere further than like near my house in Canoga Park, right? So I'll jump to address. I'll just punch in Canoga Park. Oh, wow, there's a lot of vacant homes. Holy smokes.
Where does it say?
Canoga Park.
I know, I don't see the numbers.
Oh, it's,
Oh, there they are.
yeah, it's 77 out of
Okay.
944 if you let's look at this map here. So I'm gonna scroll in and then this is what's available, right? Or scroll out. And I'm gonna take this little draw polygon. And I might do an open house this weekend. And then I can go around, scoop up, let me go all the way over here. I'm going this big because I just want to get the homes that are in this area. And now there's 39, great, so I'll go to results. And then I will go by days on market. You have 0, or if you want to start high, you can go 220 days on market. It's a vacant house for $3 million. How cool is that, right? So whichever way you want to go, but a listing agent will likely have the time of day to say, hey, please help me do an open house. Give me a break. I've been trying to sell it for 82 days and nothing, right? So I'll start here. It'll open up a full page. Crespi Street, Woodland Hills, 75, whatever. I scroll down. Not that this is where you would see the commission, by the way. And I'll say, okay, great. Please call Sherry Woods for showing. And it should say here, vacant, call Sherry Wood. So I'll call Sherry and ask her, or Sherry, I'll call Sherry and ask her, hey, oh, she's also out of area, 951, it looks like. Yeah, from
Does it
here.
matter if it's Keller Williams or not?
No,
No, okay.
thank you, Brenda, because I was like,
Oh.
no, because
Yeah, I wasn't sure, I was like. if it
And-
wasn't-
I'm probably teaching you, Rich were here or watching or auditing this, he'd be like.
Actually, thank you for showing this.
I've been joking with everyone that ever since I joined the office, I've gotten like, I don't know, 10 or 12 violations from MLS. And it was, when you transfer offices, it's not a badge of honor. It was like I transferred offices and everything all of a sudden canceled. Or they didn't have the mechanism to transfer listings. So I had all that hit. And there's like a bunch of other like knick-knack stuff that we're working through. But he's like, Philip, please update the status. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Rich, I owe you big time.
Philip, why do you think it's been on the market so long?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Usually is
Fan-
like something wrong with the house.
Fantastic question. I mean, you can analyze it, take a look. I think it's overpriced. And then
Oh,
look at this.
cute.
Wow, this is cool.
I would take that.
But for $3 million, it's all yours. It doesn't look like it's vacant though. This looks certainly occupied.
Yeah.
But something like this, you can call,
Whoa.
wow, that's crazy. This is
So it's-
next to this
it's
person.
like
Back in the day, you're like going back.
But you get this nice little portrait of Sarah Connor.
What's the average days on the market again?
30, 40 something, 30 something. This is 220. Now, this is just an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one, but you would call Sherry, text her. I would just call her and say, hey, I'm an agent with Keller Williams, Calabasas. The reason I'm reaching out today is I noticed one of your listings, never say your only listing, one of your listings on Crespi Street. I was curious to see if I may host an open house for it. That's something that you and the seller would be open to. The biggest thing they'll ask you for is proof of insurance, which you can probably just send them a copy of your insurance. At a minimum, they'll ask for your brokerage number or at least your business card. On it has your DRE, all that fun stuff. Whatever she says, no, great, thank you anyway, best of luck to you in selling this house. Haha, it's overpriced, I'm just kidding. You don't tell me that last part. Now here's another one on market for 82 days. I don't know why, 861,000 seems like an okay house. Ben Braskick, Open Door Brokerage. And then you can call them and ask if they allow for that opportunity to host an open house. I mean, Open Door, 99% of them are gonna be vacant homes anyway. Good looking house. Huh.
What are you getting?
82 days on market. So if you guys want, piggyback on this one and call them. Lewis and Clark Road, Hidden Hills, at $12 million. I mean, if they let you do an open house here, God bless you. That's gonna be really cool. But you guys probably get the point of how to search it up now. This one's in Chatsworth, and off you go. And you can do this for pretty much any area. The only change you might want to make is maybe remove county if you're gonna do something in Ventura.
Okay.
Right, so if you wanted Ventura, you can also just add it by going here, punching in Ventura,
They don't do like.
and go back to map. You can clear by pressing this button, clear all shapes. And now you should have Ventura kind of kicking. Now you get Simi, you get Moore Park, you get Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village, all that stuff.
Oh, look at all that.
Yeah, a lot of homes, a lot of homes on this map. So hopefully that helps you guys. We're gonna end here at this time. Any questions before we jump off?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Question on, you mentioned the insurance, like our insurance, where I don't understand.
So when we signed up for the office, they asked us to get like an additional policy, like they increase our not errors and emissions. Well, errors and emissions we have, I forgot the name of it, but it's like liability insurance within our auto insurance. But it's only been asked me one time, and then we ask agents for it on our listings when people host outside of our team. But
Do we have to? I was never.
I think you have to add it yourself.
yeah, we added ourselves, but isn't it on our terms, or maybe it was a carryover for me?
I don't know.
That's a great policy question.
Yeah,
Get your
I
ass.
probably asked you here when I said.
No.
No.
I have no
Okay.
idea.
So I'm overpaying things, like my other office, they asked us to carry Additional insurance up to $300,000 in the event that a client got hurt while showing homes with us. Or if we were hosting an open house and, you know, we get hit with some kind of lawsuit, that in addition to errors and omissions, we have that as well.
I thought it was if they were riding in our car, so I never got it.
Well, great question.
I got the same. Because I asked.
I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna probably ride in my car these days.
No, I know.
But,
You know, some clients smell that too, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. I didn't shoot, yeah,
Some
weird,
people,
right?
some people love to put them in their car because then they top them up, you know?
Okay, here's a hack, so you got a couple with you in the car,
Yeah,
and you're driving them around wherever,
yeah.
right, like, wherever you're going.
Mhm.
The one thing I noticed when I did do that, because I listened to my mom, and she's right about so many things, there's some things that are just not, you know, they don't apply to where it's from.
It's like no longer.
Right, like when she bought her homes in the 80s and 90s, yeah,
They drove you around.
they drove around in Mercedes and they were out looking at homes. So I tried that in my Honda Accord at the time, you know, and you know what I noticed? We would go to all these homes and they would say so many good things about the house. And we would see like 10, 15, 20 homes at the time. When I would follow up for the offer, they would go and say, oh, you know, all the homes that you showed us we didn't like.
Yeah.
F, you could have told me that in
Yeah,
the car as we're going to all these houses.
yeah.
So what I found when I spoke to another agent, he's like, you never drive with them in the car.
Oh, but
Hey.
they can't talk about it.
Yeah, you know, you want your privacy, you want to blast music, make other calls while driving in a safe way,
Yeah.
all this other stuff. And then here's the best thing, Philip, is that they will tell you ahead of time as you're driving to the next place, like Philip, you know, the last couple houses, get them off the list. If there's other homes like it, just take them off altogether. Awesome, because they have a chance to debrief themselves and talk openly to each other.
Yeah.
Hey, that house is a dog, this area sucks.
That's
Yes,
what
yeah.
would happen when we took Rudy and
Joanna, yes.
We would pull up to the next one and be like, I don't know, I live across the street from a shopping center.
Yeah,
That's the first thing they tell
and
me,
he's
so
super
don't
blunt
like
too,
that.
right?
Yeah, this was Joanna.
Oh, Joanna, oh. Have you-
Yeah, he was super blunt too, which
Yeah, he
we
was.
appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, a hill? No.
Yeah,
A hill in the backyard,
Yeah.
trees?
So he
That's
gave
like
you
$1,000 a tree every year.
he gave you the PG version. He told me like, oh, this is a ghetto. Like, I
I
mean, what can I tell you?
like it, to be honest.
Yeah, they were
Yeah, he
super
would just
like,
be like, I don't like this street.
yeah. Yeah, he called me and it was like different, or on the private test, like,
Yeah.
you know, we have friendly banter. He's like, the F is this? You know, like, hey man, you're the one who hearted the property, but
That's right.
you know, we have fun with it. We can do stuff like that. So hopefully this stuff kind of helped out. I mean, the buyer side is kind of a throw in, but you know, be you, have fun. You know, real estate's not complicated. It's just the obstacles we kind of throw out there. And we're not gonna have all the answers every single time, but just convert that, like, hey, fabulous question. Do you mind if we reconnect? I always throw Monday or Tuesday out there because, hey, that's when everything is open. Do you mind if we reconnect during the week when I can have enough time to find the answers to that? And then by then they're giving you the right information, you follow up and off with them. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for everyone who's online, and let's keep on crushing it. Friday, we're back together again. And we'll, oh man, I recorded all of that. That's awesome. Okay.